Hello, thank you for watching my previous video where I challenged my 60-year-old mother to perform some simple at-home exercises with minimal setup or equipments. So this time I wanted to challenge my mother to perform different forms of walking and to see where this goes. So I would like to share how walking has a lot of depth to it and how you can make it fun, challenging, engaging and a great form of exercise. So here are 15 different ways in which I challenged my mother to walk in different ways. Okay, for our first exercise, we will start with walking on the spot. It's a fairly basic warm-up. You just want to do some smooth rhythmic movements with your hands and legs. Next, we will move on to brisk walking. So when we walk for exercise, we want to do brisk walking, and brisk walking means you want to keep our core muscles tight, perform controlled rhythmic movements that stimulates our cardiovascular system, pumps up our heart rate and makes us sweat. If you can have a casual conversation while walking, and if you're not getting breathless or tired or sweating, then maybe you should step up your intensity. This is an example of a poor control and a lax core muscle. The limb movements are floppy and this often does not translate into good results. You can be walking like this for hours together, but you may not gain any significant improvement or health or fitness. When we exercise, we want strong core and controlled movements. For our next exercise, we have high knee walk. What we want to do is bring our knees as close to the chest as possible with each step. We want to be controlled, have a strong core and keep our upper body as straight as possible. If your lower back is arched or if you develop any back pain when doing this exercise, it means either the form is incorrect or you're lacking core strength. If you are feeling strong and great, you can consider doing some high knee hops. Try to do this controlled. Each time as you're done with the high knee, you can do a small hop before you move on to the next leg. Next up, we're going to try some kickbacks. We can start with some stationary kickbacks. What we want to do is try and bring our heel as close to our buttocks as possible. Ensure your upper body is straight and your core is tight. Now we want to try and bring this into our walking. When we do this, initially it might feel a bit awkward, but what we want to try to do is exaggerate the backward movements of our leg. In this way, we are going to challenge our back leg glutes and hamstrings with each walk. Next up, we have lunge walks. This may look awkward, but it is great for balance as well as strengthening of your lower leg muscles. With each walk, you want to try and hold a 90-degree angle at your hip and knee joint if possible. Make sure the transition is smooth and you are keeping a tight core during this exercise. Next up, we have the Sideway duck walk. Now this is a pretty challenging exercise that burns your thigh and your glute muscles. Here the focus is not really about covering distance, but rather on maintaining proper form to improve on your strength and balance. It may look awkward, but this is going to really build your lower body strength. Next up, we have the good old farmer's walk. All we want to do is carry some weights by the side and walk with a tight core and using the same principles of walking as without any weights. You can gradually increase the weights and cover more distance as you become stronger and more comfortable. Another way you can challenge yourself is through back walking. Now back walking may look simple, but it's actually pretty difficult. Again, you want to ensure your core muscles are tight and you're walking in a straight line. You may at times notice that your hips are swaying from side to side. If that happens, it probably means that your stabilizing muscles are not strong enough. You can start by taking small steps and over time you can build up, and that can also help you with your confidence. After back walks, we have the side walks. Side walks are great to improve our oblique muscles as well as our lateral thigh muscles. Remember to walk both the left and the right side. While doing so, make sure that you have a tight core If you find the side walks too easy, try the Criss-Cross Walk. This adds an extra level of challenge to your sense of coordination and balance. You can try doing them faster gradually, but just make sure you don't trip yourself. It takes a while to get used to the rhythm, but if you can do this well, it's going to be good. Next up we have the Stair Walk. Using the same idea of walking, when you do Stair Walks, you want to keep a tight core and push with your glutes and thigh muscles. If done properly, you should not have any knee or hip pains. To add a layer of difficulty, you can try doing alternate Stair Walks. It is essentially doing a lunge, but instead of going straight, you're going upwards. Next is the Sideway Stair Walk. Sideway Stair Walk gives you the same benefit of sideway walks with an extra layer of difficulty because of the upward movement. Again, we want to practice both sides, and each time we want to have controlled rhythmic movement. You can start off slow and then gradually you can increase the speed, but make sure your upper body remains stable and your hips do not sway with each movement. If you are feeling really good, you can try Sideway Criss-Cross Walk. Again, this is very similar to Criss-Cross Sideway Walks with the staircase adding a layer of it. Remember to practice it slowly first. Once you are comfortable, you can slowly increase the speed. Make sure you don't compromise on the form. Lastly, we have the backward stair walks. Now this can be pretty challenging because it involves a good amount of strength, balance, and fear is also involved in this. It took my mother a couple of tries to get this thing going, but once you have your basics of backwards walking, you can slowly build up the difficulty and reach here. At the end of the day, it can be pretty satisfying to get this thing done. So good luck with this. So that's it for the 15 different ways in which I challenged my 60-year-old mother to walk. I hope this has been useful or entertaining in some way. Share with me your comments, how things went, or if there are any tips or any things that we can improve. If you would like to show us some of your walking techniques, that would be great too. And have a good day.